Looking for a car you can count on? At AutoMasters, we offer a hand-picked selection of used and certified pre-owned vehicles priced right and ready to drive. With easy financing and expert service, AutoMasters is your trusted dealership from test drive to keys in hand. AutoMasters, driven by trust, powered by service. Visit our website at automasters06.com or stop by today. And oh yeah, tell them Sonia sent you.
She say, sports. She say, sports. She say, sports. She say, sports.
Hey, y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Please welcome sports surgeon at Hampton Roads Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and founder and creator of Athlete Forever app, Dr. William Hill. Hey, Doc, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Sonia, for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I was connected to you through Monique AJ Smith, she's a master connector and she's amazing. I love her. I really, really do. I've had a lot of East Coast people on my show. I'm in Mississippi, so this has been fun. So, Doc, tell the listeners, I'm going to talk more about the Athlete Forever app, but tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Virginia, born and raised, and I was able to earn a full athletic scholarship to the University of Virginia for football, and was a team captain there, and had a brief, less than a season stint with the Indianapolis Colts thereafter. And then I went back to education. I got my master's of public health and my doctorate of medicine from Howard, and then went on to orthopedic surgery residency and sports medicine fellowship. And so that's my educational journey. Mm-hmm. But during the last 5 or so years, I've also had an entrepreneurial start, and that was with Athlete Forever. And so for me, Athlete Forever is a way for me to invest in the next generations, to give back and to serve and to uplift and to make sure that I leave the next generation in a better place than when I found sports as my first love.
I love that. So, like you just mentioned, you played, you were an athlete, now you're a sports surgeon. But what was the aha moment that made you realize athletes needed a platform like this across their life cycle, meaning Athlete Forever?
So it really happened during COVID. Mm-hmm. I was in residency as a medical doctor in training, and my career was pretty consistent, and I had a good career trajectory. And I was looking at some of my former teammates, friends, and colleagues that were athletes, and during that time, there was a lot of uncertainty. Mm-hmm. And people were doing jobs or in careers that they didn't want to be in, or they didn't need a high level college degree from a top 10 university. And so I looked at myself and I just thought, how did I get to where I was at in my current circumstance?
Right.
And a few things came to mind. One was exposure. I was exposed to careers outside of just being a competing athlete. Another was networking and connections. I sought out my team physicians when I played at University of Virginia, and I inquired, how did you get here? what's your day to day?
Mm-hmm.
And then also one of the things was, I think, just having a mentor, because
Okay.
having a mentor is huge, and it opens doors and opportunities to things that you may not otherwise be exposed to. So I think looking at that, I then reverse engineered that that's what's needed
Mm-hmm.
to help athletes transition well from being a competing athlete to being an athlete forever.
I love that. So you said you had mentors and you were asking the sports trainers or whomever about how they got there. Was it kind of like the plan? If you had stayed in the NFL a few years, your plan was to possibly go into sports medicine?
Yes. So
Okay.
I majored in biology at UVA, and whenever playing football was done, I always knew I wanted to have a career in either sports performance, physical
Okay.
therapy, or medicine.
Gotcha. Okay, so that was kind of the plan. So, getting back to Athlete Forever, how do you find success? How do you define, I'm sorry, success for Athlete Forever? Meaning, what does it look like when it's working well for an athlete? And I know it's a new app, but have you seen any signs of it being successful at this point? I think you have 600. Um, how many people are a part of this now, your app?
I haven't checked in a while, but I think the last time I checked, it was close to 400 or 500.
Okay, I've been doing some research on it. It was like 600 is I think the last time you checked. So which is really good for just coming out in the last few months. I think that's awesome. So how do you define success for Athlete Forever?
For me, if it helps one athlete, you know,
Hmm.
bridge that chiasm from athlete to professional career post being a competing athlete. And so
Yeah.
all it takes is, helping one person, and then obviously the ripple effects of how many people they can help. And so if I can help one person, one family, then for me that's success.
I love that. I love what you're doing because the concept is amazing. And the life cycle of an athlete is not just the years playing, it includes after sport. So how does the app address that transition phase?
And so it addresses the transition phase multifaceted.
Hmm.
One, the professional service members that are part of the app. There may be employers that are present, former teammates that are older, or I
Hmm.
should say, former alumni that may have gone to the same university, played the same sport, but maybe 10, 15 years older. And so having almost a built in referral for mentors,
Hmm.
also being able to tap into different university representatives that may be on the platform, if they're interested in graduate or professional degrees, and then also employers that want to hire athletes for internships or jobs. And so that's one of the the ways. And then also our resource repository. It's very thorough and I would say robust. And the resource repository has everything from NIL to career exploration, to career readiness organizations that the athletes can tap into. And so for me, it's community over competition. No
Mm.
one, no organizations or our competitor, they all help us help Athlete Forever become better, because we
Right.
want to amplify all of these organizations that are doing great work. But organization is only as good as the people they serve, and if no one knows what organizations are doing, then they aren't optimized to help the masses that they could. And so I want to include all the great organizations in
Mm-hmm.
all the different categories that I can to allow for athletes to have access to them.
I love that. So, Athlete Forever has a built-in access to mental health professionals, sports medicine, and financial advisors. How do you prioritize and integrate these different support streams into one app?
Well, I, I guess it's deprioritize or decentralize. It's centralized and deprioritized, and so the user or the athlete gets to prioritize which one they want to look for and
Right.
utilize. And
Okay.
so just having it available, and one athlete may prioritize financial literacy and financial wellness. The other may prioritize mental health and mental wellness, or
Mm-hmm.
someone may prioritize career readiness or career transition, or someone may prioritize physical health and recovering from an injury, um, or mentorship. And so it's really something that can be whatever the athlete wants it to be.
Gotcha.
And it is a resource, and I say it is the athlete's teammate for life, because I want
Great.
this to be a part of your team and your life for forever. And so we want to be your teammate, and make sure that you're successful in all that you do.
I love that because um, Jamie and Spencer, he played in the NFL as well. And he's on the show once a month during football season. And he always says that the football was his first girlfriend. And it's forever. Sport is forever for a lot of competitors. It's when you're off that field, or just like Tom Brady came back after a few months after he retired, or Michael Jordan came back after a year. It's just something about the competitive part in you guys, in athletes, that never leave. And so that's true. I mean, I didn't even know it was a mentorship portion to it, which is great. I think this is an amazing app. I'm loving what you're doing. So, Dr. Hill, mental health is finally being discussed more openly in sports. How does Athlete Forever help athletes address mental health challenges?
Well, one, we provide access to mental health professionals, which include counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, and also just creating an environment and a space where mental health is appreciated, promoted, and protected. And so we don't necessarily push it on people, but we do provide the space and the place for it to be openly accessed and utilized. Um,
Mhm.
we do, through our post on Instagram, do post different mental health and wellness topics. And so Monday is our mindfulness Monday, and we post different things in that vein, in that topic. And then in Wednesdays um, is Wellness Wednesday, and so
Okay.
we also post that. And so we just try to stay positive in mind, body, and soul and spirit, and because it's all connected. And
Very
so,
much. That's awesome. So, Dr. Hill, you mentioned earlier after college, you went to mini camp with Indiana Colts, and you found out, well, you didn't say that part, but you found out you had a serious health issue. Could you walk us through that time for you, and how could something like Athlete Forever help you cope with the devastating news that ultimately changed your dreams and your life?
So, when I did have, when I was told that, there was something that was atypical, with my heart, and saw multiple specialists, and ultimately was told that, we can't clear you, and no one else will probably clear you. It was okay. I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm getting back in the game, and not sitting on the sidelines. And so for me, when that transition or sports comes to an end as a competing athlete, a lot of times it is at the hands of injuries, right? And so we don't know when they'll happen, how they'll happen, what it will be, but typically that is the more common way that careers end. And so, or really, they get ended not on our terms. If we're lucky
Right.
enough to be, a Tom Brady, or a Michael Jordan, and we get to end when we want to end, and people or our health, says you're done, or you're not getting signed, and it's not in your control. So, Athlete Forever is a space where people that are dealing with career altering in life.
Uh-oh.
Sorry,
We're back. That's okay.
life, life altering events and injuries can come and form community.
Right.
Because even if your career as a competing athlete is over, your life is just beginning, really. And so it's one of those things that you can form communities within the community. And so your school, your team, if you want to form a community for the 2015 LSU women's basketball team, or just LSU women's basketball, and all the years can be in the same group. And so you can create different communities. The injured athlete community, you can create those communities, and
Right.
tap into the members, and foster community there.
I love that. That's okay. I guess I didn't realize it had that type of feel where they can create communities within the app. That's pretty dope. I like that. So, in terms of sports medicine, injury prevention, rehab, long-term wellness, how does the app support athletes through these stages?
So physical therapists can be a part of the app. Sports medicine physicians and
Mhm.
surgeons can be a part of the app. And so again, it's one of those situations that if you have an injury or you're recovering from something,
Mhm.
you can stay connected with your physician, or become connected with someone that wasn't your primary treating physician, if you have questions or you're not as comfortable with them. And so it is a way for athletes to utilize this resource to better serve them in all aspects of their life, physical, mental, again, spiritual, emotional. And so it allows for really a continuity of care if they are still connected with their primary um, sports medicine team, but also it allows for them to stay connected with
Mhm.
a sports medicine team in general, so they aren't lost by the wayside, or things don't fall through the cracks. And so it's a great opportunity for not only the physicians and the trainers and the physical therapists, but for the athletes as well.
That's awesome. So, Dr. Hill, financial health is often overlooked in athlete careers, and I guess because everybody feel like they have money, they don't have any problems, but that's not true. How do you help athletes with financial advisors via the app, and why this is so critical?
So we allow for financial advisors to be a part of it. We don't
Hmm.
necessarily steer them to a specific financial advisor, um, but more importantly, we provide resources through our resource repository for different financial literacy and wellness organizations that we vetted. Um,
Okay.
and after going through that, if they want to personally connect with the financial advisor that is a member of the Athlete Forever app, they can. And so I think having an understanding of what that means in the NIL era, what are taxes, what is a W-2, what is a
Hmm.
a contractor employee, and so getting some of those basics down in what is a 401k, what is a Roth IRA, and
Right.
just some of those basics that now these athletes, all the way from high school on up, are
Hmm.
now being exposed to, which I think is great because in a lot of these, in a lot of times, athletes wouldn't be exposed to this till a decade or more later.
That's true. That is true. I totally agree. And so have you ever heard of Dr. Tawana Smith? She's a sports financial advisor.
Yes, yes.
I saw Aurora
She
and a very good
does
friend.
the abroad, the
Hmm.
basketball
Yeah,
abroad
yeah.
summit.
I would, I would love for y'all to connect, and she be a part of Athlete Forever. But I just think she's amazing. So yeah, I'm glad you know her. That's cool. Yeah, she's amazing. Um, Dr. Hill, how does Athlete Forever tailor its services for different athlete profiles, such as youth, collegiate, professional, and retired?
Well, it being an organic app,
Hmm.
um, we don't necessarily have algorithms in place that are for the youth, for high
Gotcha.
school, for college, pro, or post competing. But
Hmm.
it's one that, as you engage with the app and engage with other users, it forms and morphs to what you need from the app. And
Gotcha.
so for a high school student, they may want mentorship or they may want to know more about universities that they're considering. And so
Hmm.
they may connect with current uh, collegiate players or post competing or professional players that they can find mentors and learn more about universities and what they may have, and
Hmm.
then for the youth athlete, they may want more information on nutrition, which we haven't
Hmm.
talked about yet. But nutritionists and dietitians are also part of the app, and also they may want more information on um, training and injury prevention. And so
Okay.
everyone can really come in and get what they need, um, without necessarily the app telling them what they need.
Gotcha. And speaking of high school athletes, I was, listening to something you said the other day, and you have a love for the high school athlete. And I want you to elaborate more. But I remember you saying that in order to be a collegiate and an NFL player, you have to start with high school. So can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes. So 99% of collegiate athletes were high school athletes. Obviously, it's that rarity that we hear sometimes,
Go
this
straight to the
person,
NFL. Yeah.
well, yeah, that or, oh, they didn't even play in high school and they walked on their college
Okay.
team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But by and large, all collegiate and professional athletes were high school athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can get high school athletes in the ecosystem and understand that there are these resources available to them, then they can be better equipped to be collegiate student athletes, professional athletes, and have a life full of wellness, meaning, and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is why I focus and I'm so intent on investing in them, because they have the longest shelf life.
That's true.
And having the longest shelf life means we can help them more than any other of the demographics. And we want to help all of the demographics. But if we can get the high school / youth athlete in this ecosystem and plugged in, then they can have more success over time.
Gotcha. I love that. So, Dr. Hill, how do you convince an athlete who might believe I just train and perform of the value of mental health, financial planning, and long-term wellness?
I I think you have to focus on a lot of different things, because everyone's individual, and so you may have to get
Mm-hmm.
the way you get through to one person may not work for the next. But
Right.
I think everyone's goal is to be successful in life. But
Mm-hmm.
success in life for everyone may look different, right? Success in life for
Right.
one person may be athletic based. For another, it
Mm-hmm.
may be professional, um, in a career or a trade. But ultimately, everyone wants to have a life of success and meaning and purpose. And
Right.
so, understanding that, then you can get to what drives them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to make it to a professional athlete level, or if you want to be financially free and financially secure, or if you want to be happy and have wellness, how do you get there? And so I think it's the same steps
Mm-hmm.
for all of those people, but it just is manifested in a different way. And
Gotcha.
so ultimately, if your mental health is not on track and not up to par, then your physical performance will lack.
Yeah.
If your financial literacy isn't there, then all the hard work that you do and all the money that you can or could earn is not optimized and maximized.
Right.
Nutritionally, if you aren't there, you're going to get cramps in the third quarter, and you're not going to be the optimal person that you could. Or,
Right.
you know, you're going to have early diabetes, high blood pressure. And so everyone wants to be successful, right? And so you reverse engineer that, and then you can find their motivation.
Gotcha. I love that. Hmm. So, Dr. Hill, there are many wellness apps out there. What makes Athlete Forever unique or a must have for athletes?
Well, Athlete Forever is your teammate for life,
Mm-hmm.
and it wants you to be successful holistically,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of those things that it will give more to you than you put into it, and you will be able to find another resource that you never knew existed by being on the app. You'll find a friend, a mentor, or a mentee that will also pour into you and give you more than you probably give them. And so it's a just a return on your time and your investment that I don't think you could get in other apps. And it's really centered around your life success, not only on the field but off or on the court, mat, track, or pool, but
Mhm.
in your entire life.
I love that. That's great. So, for athletes in smaller markets or less resourced programs, how accessible is your platform and what barriers exist that you're addressing?
So it's perfect for them because this is 100% virtual. But if you get to the level where you develop that rapport and you've connected with people on the app and you want to touch base with them in person, you can. But
Oh,
all of
great.
this is virtual based, and so it it has no boundaries or no hurdles. And so
Mhm.
it's an app, so it's international too. And so people from different continents can tap in, and so it's one of those things that it has no boundaries or any hurdles. And so if you're in a smaller geographic market or resource um, challenged place or program,
Mhm.
this is perfect for you because it can help fill those gaps and fill those voids that you or your teammates may be facing.
I love that. That's what's up. So, Dr. Hill, what advice would you give to younger athletes or their support teams about building a long lasting career and life beyond sport?
I would say you have to think about the end now. And
Mm,
so when I say that, being a competing athlete is really your off season. When you transition from sport, that's really your in season. Even no matter how great you are, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, even LeBron James, they will spend more time as a
mhm.
non-competing athlete in their life.
That's true.
And so you may have a if you have a 20-year run as a professional athlete, guess what? You're going to have a 40 to 50-year run as a professional
It's true.
in a career outside of athletics, right? And so understanding that will allow for you to realize that all the access that you have as an athlete really just sets you up and prepares you for your time as a non-competing athlete. So take advantage of all those connections you make, those alumni that want to talk to you, the interviews and the rooms that you're in, because those rooms that you're
Mhm.
in and the keys that you have to certain rooms and access to people, when you're done, they're most likely done too. That
Wow.
access goes away because in the sports industrial complex, when you're done being a producer, they plug and
Mhm.
play the next producer.
That's true.
And if you didn't take advantage of that, the time, place, and space that you were in at that time, then you almost lose it. You lost out. But Athlete Forever is here to be like, oh ho ho, no. You may have lost out at that point in time, but we're here to take care of you for life and
I love
forever. And so a lot of programs, they promise you the world and say, oh, if you commit here, you'll be good for life. But as soon as you're done, or you're no longer being a producer that and you're no longer a contributor and you're not playing or you're done and you're off campus now, and they're worried about the other girls and guys on the team.
That's
But
true.
for us, Athlete Forever, we're worried about you and care about you for life.
I love that. And a lot of what you just said, sometimes that's why I think it's so hard for athletes when they finish, people forget them sometimes. And this app will show them that you're not forgotten. We remember you and we care for you. It's a community of people that care.
So that's really important. I love that. So, Dr. Hill, what's next for Athlete Forever? And are there new features or partnerships on the horizon?
So for Athlete Forever, we are one of the presenting and founding sponsors of the Youth Sports Awards, which happens every spring/summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're building that out and preparing for 2026, which will be in Los Angeles again this year. And so we are actively planning that out. And so Athlete Forever is the way of how youth and high school athletes and all of the athletes in the ecosystem can connect and stay connected. And so our efforts are focused on the Youth Sports Awards, but also, maintaining the Athlete Forever app. And we're always open for collaboration. There's more to come in the sense that there are a lot of different initiatives that we're working on. And we also have a podcast now called the Transition Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, it's called the Transition Podcast: Trials, Tribulations, and Triumphs of Athletes. And so, you never retire; you just transition. And we want to highlight the stories of the 99.9 percenters, the stories that people forget or have never heard. And so that's another thing that we're actively working on and trying to get to the mainstream, and because everyone has a story.
That's right.
We just haven't heard them. Everyone has a story.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's awesome. Dr. Hill, thank you so much for joining me today. However, before we go, I play a little game called What You Know. And it's just a way for myself and the listeners to get to know the guests better. I'll ask you a few questions. If you don't know it, it's no big deal. We'll learn together. But since you played for the Colts for a little while, we're going to do some Colts trivia. So, like I said, it's just fun. So, first one, who was the 2003 NFL MVP for the Colts? Was it Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning, Dallas Clark, or Jeff Saturday?
Peyton.
Correct. What number was retired for the NFL great Raymond Berry? Was it 75, 16, 82, or 91?
I would say 91.
82. It was 82. What team, I didn't like this one. What team did the Colts beat in Super Bowl 41? Was it the Patriots, the Bears, the Lions, or the Packers?
I want to say it was
Patriots, the Bears, the Lions, or the Packers?
maybe the Patriots.
My team, the Bears. But we back. We're 6-3 as of yesterday. In what year did Andrew Luck pass for 4,761 yards, breaking Peyton Manning's previous team record? Was it 2014, 2015, 2012, or 2016?
15, I think.
You were close. 2014. Last one. Who was the Colts starting quarterback in 1996? Was it Drew Bledsoe, John Elway, Jim Harbaugh, or Vinny Testaverde? That's easy. Drew Bledsoe, John Elway, Jim Harbaugh or Vinny Testaverde?
Well, I know Jim played for them, but I don't know if he was their starter.
It's Jim.
Okay.
It's Jim. Because, John was with Denver, I think. Vinny, of course, with Miami, and I think Bledsoe. Where was Drew? New Orleans? Was he with?
No, he was with
Who was Drew with?
Patriots for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Right. That's all. Thank you so much for playing the game with me. Dr. Hill, tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media, as well as learn more about Athlete Forever.
So you can follow me at Athletes Forever on Instagram. Follow me on LinkedIn as well, William Hill. And I'm on Facebook as well, Will Hill. And so you can find Athlete Forever. We're not in the App Store, but we're a web-based app. And I will provide the link to that as well.
All right, and I'll add that at the end of the show. And guys, you can follow me on Facebook at She Say Sports, on Instagram, She Say Sports 23, and please subscribe to our YouTube page, She Say Sports. Well, that's my show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia with She Say Sports.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.